Hello everyone, welcome to the new video tutorial of bioentac. In the last session we have dealt about the basic and more of differential and density gradient centrifugation. In this class we will be dealing a little more, a short session, a little more about the centrifugation, terms, 2 or 3 terms related to centrifugation. So if you are new to this channel, subscribe to it and enable the bell icon to get daily notification. So without wasting time, let's get on with the video. Now, two terms are most commonly related to centrifugation. The first one is velocity sedimentation method and second one is buoyant density method. Now first we'll discuss about what is velocity sedimentation method. Briefly, you have to focus only on the entrance point. The first one is that the centrifuge, this term is related with density gradient centrifugation. Now what happens is that you centrifuge at a very high speed, causing the accelerating speed of sedimentation. That is, you are accelerating the speed of sedimentation at high speed. Now the main point here is that the sucrose solution is used in this one. Now the high speed causes the deposition of the particles or separation of particles and accumulation of them in their equilibrium densities. So they are accumulated, not floating, they are accumulated in each equilibrium density level of their densities. So if, as we have discussed before, what happens is that if this is the density gradient solution, the particles are deposited at equilibrium densities by accelerating the speed. One advantage of this method is that you can actually measure the molecular weight of this. How we can do is that you rotate or use the centrifuge at 55,000 rpm for a required amount of time. And what happens is that you use an optical system and focus a light on the sample, and you can actually see the particles, movement of particles in it, and the velocity of the particles determined. And using a certain equation, you can find the molecular weight of the particles separated. So that is briefly how molecular weight can be measured using velocity sedimentation method. So this is briefly of an idea, a vague idea of what is velocity sedimentation method. The second method is buoyant density method. Now the main difference between velocity sedimentation method and the buoyant density method is that the medium used in first one is sucrose, whereas in this case it is cesium chloride. In this also the centrifuge is used at a very high speed. Now what happens is that in that case, that is the velocity sedimentation method, the particles separated are accumulated in their equilibrium densities. But in this case, the particles float on the surface, that is, they float on the surface of equilibrium densities. So if this is the density gradient one, the particles actually float in this on their respective equilibrium densities. So that is the main difference between velocity sedimentation method and buoyant density method. So that's what we have to discuss about velocity sedimentation method and buoyant density method. Another term related to centrifugation is sedimentation coefficient. Hope you know what is sedimentation. It is the movement of particles in the medium when it is centrifuged. So the rate of sedimentation is known as sedimentation rate, and another term is sedimentation coefficient. In actual simple terms, it is the time taken for particles or the centrifuge to attain its terminal velocity. So that is actual time taken for attaining the terminal velocity, that is termed as sedimentation coefficient. It is represented as S, and the equation is S is equal to Vt by A. The Vt stands for velocity and A for acceleration. The velocity of the centrifuge is Vt and the acceleration is A. Now for A acceleration, that is acceleration, the equation is omega square r, which is, if you remember correctly, it is the same equation of centrifugal force. Now substituting omega square r in this equation, that is S is equal to Vt by omega square r. Now the r, as I have mentioned before, if this is the motor and this is the rotor, this distance from the sender to the sample holder, that is known as the radius, that is the r. So substituting this one, you get the S, that is the sedimentation coefficient is equal to velocity divided by omega square r. The unit of sedimentation coefficient is Swedberg. So that's all we have to discuss about centrifugation. So we have completed the first part, that is centrifugation. If you have any doubt, please comment in the section below and wait for more videos.